Hello there, Daniel, Civil Onion, Onion Gravy 64 here, based upon how you know me, and welcome back to Pokemon of the Week. And this week is a real fan favourite, and a Pokemon that I really have a lot of time for, Starmie, number 121 in the Pokedex. As you may guess, it's in the overused tier. We'll discuss why in detail throughout the video, but let's start first of all with its typing. It's Water and Psychic type, which, although not unique to itself, is reasonably uncommon, and consequently its weaknesses and resistances are unlike most other types. It's weak to 5 types: Bug, Dark, Electric, Ghost and Grass. Luckily, none of these are quadruple weaknesses. It also resists Fighting, Fire, Ice, Psychic, Steel and Water. That is a very nice combination of resistances in the overused tier, where fighting types really had a major boon in the 5th generation, and everyone carries an ice type move because of the prominence of very strong dragons. Looking at its base stats, and you may think they're pretty mediocre, but actually the art of Starmie is that every stat is just high enough to make it good at what it needs to do, depending on what you choose to let it do. Base speed of 115 is very impressive. It means you outspeed Pokemon like Gengar, you outspeed Espeons, you outspeed most Pokemon even in the OU tier. Remember, a lot of Pokemon have unusual bases like 108s, 110s, and as a result you can outspeed all of them. However, it's not all good news for Starmie, because its base special attack of 100 is obviously the stat you will be using to attack with, and it's actually not that high. It's high enough usually for what it needs to do, but it's not overwhelming. Its bulkiness is also not particularly impressive. Base 85s in each defense is okay, but a 60 base HP is not very good really. It's a shame because Water Psychic is such a good defensive type. However, as I will be showing you in the sets today, a base 60 HP stat does not stop people using it in a defensive manner, and I will show you how in due course. Now, we've got 3 abilities there, and I've put one in red. I'll tell you why, to be honest. Illuminate is an ability that has absolutely no place in the competitive metagame. You will never ever use it. It changes the random aspect of when you're trying to see Pokemon in the random in the wild outside of battles. You'll never see it in a battle competitively. Natural Cure is the ability you will always see. It's a very nice one indeed. Say you get burned, say you get put to sleep. Switch your Starmie out and hey presto, not got that issue anymore. Goes away nice and swiftly for you. Analytic would be okay if Starmie was slow and bulky, because it powers you up if you go last on a turn. However, obviously Starmie is not that, and thus you won't see that either. Now let's get on to the first of... I've done 3 sets this week, however I've split the first set up into 2. Simply because the Rapid Spin version you can do in 2 completely different ways. First of all, with set 1A, we're going to do the Rapid Spin the offensive way. We don't have time for stalling, we just want to get rid of our stealth rocks, spikes, toxic spikes, all that sort of malarkey, and then beat stuff up and threaten to scare them out. They either try and spin block you or try and set them back up again. And the advantage of Starmie being Water Psychic type and its very good move pool means that you can scare out a lot of Pokemon very, very effectively. When you're timid, you're not outsped by many things, and when you put your maximum investment in speed alongside your timid nature, you outspeed almost everything that will scare you. The occasional Weavile obviously does cause you major problems, but by and large, Starmie is quicker than almost everything it will come across. Now, Rapid Spin is a rubbish move in terms of its damage, but you don't rely on it for damage. You rely on it to get rid of entry hazards on the opposing team. When you're on your offensive Rapid Spin set, Ice Beam, Hydro Pump and Thunderbolt, in my humble opinion, are the best combination for tight coverage that you can put on your Starmie. Starmie, to a degree, does suffer a bit of 4 move slot syndrome when you're doing a Rapid Spin set, because you'd love to have Psyshock or Psychic on it as well. Can't do that, I'm afraid. So as a result, Hydro Pump is your stab move of choice, base 120 power even before the stab, so 180 afterwards, very impressive. That hits things very, very hard, especially in a tier where the Sun, so a lot of fire types are prominent, and Sandstorm, where a lot of rock types are prominent. Hits both of those super effectively. Ice Beam is there to hit the myriad of very powerful dragons in the tier, most of which you'll outspeed, some of which you can even potentially try and outspeed once they've got 1 Dragon Dance up if it's the bulkier version. So that's a very useful tight coverage move, but Water and Ice in combination can't do anything to other water types. That's where Thunderbolt comes in. Thunderbolt with Ice Beam, the Bolt Beam combination as it is coined, very nice. However, as I put in the note there, Thunderbolt in OU is almost exclusively for Jellicent, and Jellicent is a water ghost type. What do ghost types do? Block rapid spin. They prevent you from spinning rocks away and spikes and other entry hazards. Consequently, Thunderbolt will hit that quite hard for you, especially with this being the offensive rapid spin set. The EVs are tailored to be maximum speed and special attack, obviously. But now I want to show you the other side of this coin, the defensive way of using rapid spin. There are a whole host of different EV and IV distributions for defensive Starmie. This, in my opinion, is the most simple and effective one. It's also one that, when you're trying to explain to other people, it's easier. That's not a coincidence. Anyway, rapid spin is still there, of course. Scold is your water move of choice, your stab move. Main reason being, you've got a 30% chance of burn. With a 30% burn chance, obviously that will halve the opponent's attack stat, unless it's a Heracross or something like that, something with guts. That makes it very, very handy and makes its base 60 HP not quite as pathetic as it would be otherwise, because you get naturally effectively more bulky if the other team Pokemon is burned. Recovery, moves wise, you've got Recover. A very, very useful move. A whole reason why Pokemon like Gastrodon and Quagsire are so popular now compared to the past. Recover heals 50% of your HP regardless of weather, your health, the opponent's health. It's got no effect on it whatsoever. It always heals 50%. That makes it effectively the most reliable recovery move going. There's only Roost that can really compare in terms of what could possibly be more reliable. But then you have to choose a cover move. Because you're the defensive version and you can switch in multiple times and you have a healing move, you have to pick one cover move. And obviously if you pick Ice Beam, you can't hit water types. If you pick Psyshock, you'll get dual stab, however your type coverage is not particularly impressive. But if you pick Thunderbolt, you can hit other water types, but you might come unstuck quite easily against grass types, for example. Pokemon like Celebi, which will laugh at you if you pick any cover move other than Ice Beam. You've got to be careful though with this set, because it's not quite as quick, so you can't outspeed other base 115, but with 224 speed EVs, you can outspeed timid base 110, so Gengar and Espeon, like I mentioned before, both the 110 speed bracket, you can still outspeed those two. The remaining 34 EVs have gone in defense, because obviously you're working on being able to be physically bulky, in particular with using Scold. Scold, if it lowered special attack by half, for example, you would boost your special defense, but that's not how it works. In comparison to the first set, you run leftovers on this rather than life forward, because this is all about longevity, lasting as long as you physically can. But you don't have to do it like this. You can just go, screw it, Starmie has a great move pool, throw a choice item at it. And that is very often the case. We've got our choice item options here, and Starmie's got a lot of moves available to it, not only its type coverage, but in the form of Trick. Trick is a lovely move to have if you're a choice item user, because say you come across Blissey, and Blissey is a Pokemon that causes Starmies that don't have Psyshock in particular a very big problem. So, how do you get around this? Give it a choice specs. Blissey with a choice specs can't do anything to your entire team, let alone Starmie, and you'd end up picking up a leftovers likely, and that's not going to harm your Starmie in any way. That's a very nice move to have. It means you can get around a wall that may stop you cold, may even stop your entire team dead in its tracks. Hydro Pump with a choice specs is very powerful despite only going off a base 100 special attack. However, if you're a bit unsure about its accuracy, it's only 80%, you can run Surf there instead. But if you're going for the choice specs in particular, you want to break walls hard. So Hydro Pump is my advice to have there. Ice Beam again is there because there are so many dragons in the overused tier, and this is obviously where you're using your Starmie. It also hits a few of the better grass types like Virizion hard if you've chosen not to use Psyshock. Speaking of, that can be your final move slot, or you can have Thunderbolt instead. It's the same issue we had with the set 1A. There's not a right answer to this, but Psyshock gives you dual stab, whereas Thunderbolt gives you better type coverage. It's based upon if your team has good type coverage already, you might want to throw Psyshock on it. If you're kind of dubious on that and you want to hit as many Pokemon super effectively as you can, Thunderbolt's the far better option. I want to quickly explain though why Starmie is so good with choice items. And the key reason, or a key reason, is that it resists almost every single priority move. It doesn't resist extreme speed, obviously, but it does resist Mach Punch, Vacuum Wave, Aqua Jet and Bullet Punch. And that is very handy because it means even if you are outsped by priority, you're not going to faint, you're going to take a pittance, and you'll be able to return fire with your choice item. Plus, the opponent might not find out that you've got a choice item because they've gone first. So, gotta always think ahead. It's very much a prediction-based Pokemon if you put a choice item on it. Obviously, every set's got natural cure, not national cure, I was about to say. Natural cure is the best ability, as I've already pointed out. Timid is almost always the best option, even on a choice Scarf set, because the OU metagame is all about going first. Most tiers are like that, but OU is a very quick tier, so very important to go first. Now, I wanted to go for this set last because this is what I call the PBR special. This is a set that I use in the 4th generation, and it still works quite well to this day, and it's the reason I brought it up now. You've got Hydro Pump, Ice Beam and Thunderbolt. They're standard throughout pretty much all 3 sets. Well, type-wise they are. Obviously you can have Scald in the defensive form of Starmie. However, the debatable point here is putting Hidden Power Fire in the last move, and there are positives and negatives to doing this. The negative, as I pointed out, is that to get Hidden Power Fire, your IVs require you to drop 1 point in speed. You can't get around it. And as a consequence, you can't get involved in speed ties with base 115 Pokemon, because you'll lose by 1 point, and thus by default you'll be a bit slower. However, on the flip side, Hidden Power Fire and Fire type in general, A, it's a massive surprise, you'll get surprise factor. B, it takes out a lot of the Pokemon that you're naturally weak to, so Scizor and Ferrothorn as I pointed out. And C, Fire has a habit of hitting a lot of Pokemon super effectively, and combining that with the Expert Belt, these 4 type moves together hit almost everything super effectively. The Expert Belt prevents you from being stuck into one move, and you'll still get a 20% bonus if you can hit something super effectively. So we're really utilising Starmie's fantastic move pool and type coverage potential to really hit hard. The amount of Scizors I've taken out with this Starmie is, well, put it this way, I don't have enough digits on my body to be able to count it for you. Very effective. Obviously the EVs are biased to be as quick as you can and maximum special attack as well. It actually looks very similar to the offensive Rapid Spin set, but we're going with Hidden Power Fire instead of Rapid Spin. It's not quite as versatile as a Rapid Spin, of course, but you don't have to have the issues of accidentally having a Jellicent switch into you or something like that, or Frost Lasses depending. This is all about hitting hard and super effectively in particular. Now finally, before I go, we've got the Pokemon of the Week special to discuss, and we need to get some sets in. Send me a set of what you've made on your Pokemon to either my email there or on Facebook. Put the URL in there, it'll come up toot sweet. Remember to include all the information and I'll analyse it for you. I might give you advice, I might give you a rating. It depends on how involved and engaged you get with me, is how engaged I'll get with you. And if no one submits, I can basically put my feet up and have a big relaxation session for the final episode. So talk to you all next week. Peace out.